Hi, I'm Ryan Manchee with Basis Technologies, and we are talking marketing inspiration and advertising innovation, and I'm joined by Fran Hazeldine.
Great to be with you today, Ryan.
Yeah, excited to have you join us. Can you tell me a little bit about your role and what you do over at Samsung?
Sure thing. So I get to head up a team that's focused on services marketing at Samsung. So what does that mean? If you think about all of the content experiences that you can access on your Samsung device, my team's job is really to promote those experiences and help Samsung and our partners to build an ecosystem around that content. So that could mean anything from promoting services that we own, Samsung TV Plus, Samsung Gaming Hub, Samsung Art Store, but also working year-round with our partners to promote their content. So that could be game and TV studios, Netflix or Xbox. It could be an art gallery or an individual creator. And across all of that, it's a lot of complexity, but really it's about bringing just the best of the value that we have on device to our customer, hopefully inspiring them to lean in and engage.
I love that. Yeah, it's such a great diversity of options for Samsung owners. I've got a Samsung TV, so I want to pick your brain of like what should I as an owner be really excited about? What's maybe something that I'm missing that I should check out on my Samsung Smart TV?
Yeah, so in the way that we think about streaming today, certainly streaming TV continues to be huge for us. We have a fast experience, free ad-supported TV experience, Samsung TV Plus, but increasingly we're also looking at game streaming and even streaming art or digital art. So think about those three kind of modes of your TV. The whole of that future of streaming, that's a big part of the offering when it comes to TV.
Awesome. The Samsung brand is it's so well known. It's one of the, I think top 10 brands in the world. How do you create, when you think about the Samsung services, how do you create those emotional connections and build upon that amazing name that you're able to work with at Samsung?
Yeah, certainly an incredible brand to work with. It's an overused and overhyped word, but I think when people think about Samsung, they do think about really innovative tech. I think that means something when it comes to Samsung. It can mean, genuinely kind of bringing down barriers and thereby expanding access to incredibly premium content experiences. So, to make that real, if I think about the TV, when we're able to build free TV into the TV, when we're able to serve game streaming to millions of new or lapsed gamers, or bring thousands of artworks from some of the world's greatest galleries into your living room, I do think there's something genuinely innovative and exciting about that. I think customers appreciate that. And I also get excited about what that enables us to do in terms of just shining a spotlight on even more creators, even more content than we might otherwise do. So we certainly in our marketing, around the art, gaming, TV services, we look to present, a real diversity of that streaming content and support that whole ecosystem.
Yeah, very interesting. And you've been with that company, I think, a little less than 2 years, is that right?
Yeah, just coming up to 2 years now.
All right, well, congratulations, early congratulations. I'm interested in how the marketing strategy has evolved over that time. A lot can happen in 2 years. Can you maybe talk a little bit about that, what it was like when you joined and kind of where it's at today and how you're thinking about even next year and beyond?
Yeah, sure thing. I think we're incredibly fortunate to have access to a really rich ecosystem of owned and operated channels. So we've just been mining that, more and more. If you think about the Smart TV and Samsung ads sitting on top of the Smart TV platform, that is incredible reach, and our advertisers have access to that. We've built our own sophistication in terms of how to tap all of those placements and opportunities on device. I think getting to know and work with my partners around the world, the digital and social platforms that they each own, the retail footprint that we have. I think part of it joining Samsung is just realizing that incredible, again, reach and opportunity, within our own ecosystem. But beyond that, it's important, I think, especially for Samsung, especially in what my team does, to be present in culture. So beyond those sorts of digital owned and operated channels, the partnerships that we have with art galleries like the Met, in the gaming space with the Game Awards and Summer Game Fest, it's just these opportunities to show up for those communities, to play a role in gaming or art culture, and I think we value that equally as well. So I think you'll see us, again, continuing to make the most of Samsung's ecosystem and footprint, really value those cultural partnerships, and look to kind of boost with paid, when and where it makes sense.
Yeah, that's amazing. I feel like that's one of the idea of culture and how marketing and advertising can play and should play a greater role in that, and has historically. I feel like that's been one of the big themes that I've heard this week at Ad Week. I'm interested, as you do that, as you kind of create those cultural moments, how do you measure success? How do you prove out those different initiatives that you and your team and the teams that you're working with are successful? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I think increasingly, and again, there's sort of buzzwords here, but the whole of the funnel or the cycle, whatever kind of metaphor you prefer. But I'm a brand strategist by trade earlier in my career, so I'm certainly incredibly interested in what it looks like to measure and track brand building. Mm-hmm. And then when we think about the future of streaming and building brands and services in that space, creating awareness, creating familiarity with the brands that we have, with our partner brands, is a big part of it. But as you kind of move down that funnel, say, thinking about all the education that we need to do, the ways that we can track how well we're doing at introducing people to product value, new features that they may not have had before. And then, of course, on the performance side, ultimately, we're here to build service businesses. We're here to drive user growth and revenue. So I feel like as a marketer, I've got to be increasingly sophisticated with my team around all of that measurement, think about the whole of that machine, what that all adds up to. It's certainly just part of the challenge now.
Yeah, it's amazing. I feel like the flip side of creating those kind of bigger experiences, and sometimes it works in contrast, sometimes it aligns with it, but are maybe some of the emerging technologies. And obviously Samsung plays a critical role within that, but there's other technologies that are impacting both an advertising technology perspective as well as consumer technologies. What just emerging technologies, wherever you want to take it, which ones are you maybe a little bit more excited about and seeing what the impact may be for Samsung?
Yeah, so we've talked a lot about streaming.
Yeah.
I think streaming has ways to go. So watching streaming continue to play out both in terms of consumer tech, ad tech, around TV, music, but also gaming, art, more categories. I'm still incredibly excited about that journey and all that will bring. I think beyond that sort of core streaming tech, the delivery there, it's hard not to talk about AI. Certainly at Samsung, AI, in many ways has been baked into our products for a long while. The performance of your TV has been AI enhanced for many years now. The way that we think about serving recommendations, spotlighting content, again, can leverage AI algorithms. Gen AI, I think we're all curious there. There's pockets of sort of interesting work that could impact, what we do on the content side. We've seen generative art come to our platform already. So, so many kind of angles with AI. I also just think about it in terms of, my day-to-day internally with my team. If I look at tools like Braze, like Google, like Canva, the way they're just getting smarter, more magical day in, day out, you can kind of see the enhancement there at a pretty fast clip. So I think personally, professionally, in every way, I'm generally an AI optimist.
Yeah, that's fun. Any, just on an individual level where you've utilized some of the different AI tools and kind of just surprised yourself with what some of the outcomes have been?
I love that question. I'm probably going to pass on it just to not make it too personal to me and say something stupid that Samsung won't like.
Okay, all right, that's fair. So when you think about some of the shifting consumer behaviors and some of those different consumer trends that are out there, how is that impacting your work, and how are you thinking about that? You talked a little bit about streaming, mm-hmm. right? There's streaming behaviors, more people, whether they're cutting the cord or kind of shifting over. I feel like you can probably speak about that, but other things as well. Like how are you rethinking your approach?
Yeah, it's certainly a space where you've got to think really seriously at that sort of foundational level about what do customers need and want. So a lot of value prop work, just doing the insights work, translating that through to the experiences that we develop with our product partners, to how we message and communicate those experiences. So I think that's kind of one fundamental level that doesn't go away, and in a space like streaming is incredibly important because it's changing so quickly. But then there's a more tactical level, right? So we're in the content business, humbly as a partner, as an ecosystem to many incredible content owners. But we certainly have to keep track of what do people want there. What is their demand for that maybe there wasn't so much demand for before. And I'll give you a couple of examples. I think we, like others, noticed, a few years back that there was real kind of nostalgic demand for a lot of that archival library content, and that sort of boosted our fast business. And we've made specific decisions like, spotting the comedy clips, which are super popular. And so we brought a 24/7 Conan O'Brien channel to Samsung TV Plus, and that's been a huge hit. On the art side, I think we heard for many months from our customers that Salvador Dali was this sort of enduring presence that they kind of missed from the platform, that they'd love to have his artwork presented on their frame TV at home. And so we worked with the Dali Foundation to get that deal done and bring 12 of his masterpieces to Samsung frame TVs. So I think those are just examples of where, again, on a more strategic level, we've got to get the value prop right, we've got to understand needs, but then more tactically, how do we just meet that ongoing demand, the different trends that there might be around different categories of content?
Yeah, I love that. How do you, I know on the streaming side, you talk about the fast piece of it. How do you all think about, how do you approach the idea of incorporating advertising that's in there? Is there advertising that's available or inserted in for some of those art experiences, or is that an area that, hey, we want to leave that, wholly contained and just like let people experience the more kind of cultural moment? Or I'm just kind of interested of like where the advertising piece to be able to monetize some of that, where that kind of comes into play.
Yeah, so I think those different experiences are at different stages in the life cycle. Clearly, with free ad-supported TV and streaming TV generally, that's matured to a point. Yeah. So we have a sophisticated ads offering, ad insertion, ad pods that work incredibly well, both for our advertisers, but also for our own promotion of everything that's on TV Plus and beyond. Gaming, we're just starting to open up more inventory, more opportunity there for advertisers. We've had endemic gaming advertisers for a long while on Samsung. They're fantastic customers, so we look forward to growing that opportunity as well. When it comes to art, currently we have an art subscription service, Samsung Art Store, but we'll continue to monitor what the opportunities are there in terms of subscription, other models that might present themselves. So I think it's just about the stage of evolution that each of those services are at.
Very interesting. So if we take a step back and you look at the marketing and advertising industry as a whole, if you had a magic wand, what's one thing that you would fix or you'd change within the industry?
So I think great question. I think for me, what continues to be important is relationships, kind of internally and externally with our agencies. So. I wouldn't say there are huge kind of problems to fix, but I think the continuing challenge of just bringing cross-functional teams together. Marketing alone is so complicated now. Trying to work with product, BD, all sorts of partners, sales partners across the organization to understand all the complexity in those individual disciplines and functions and how we can best work together, around something, as exciting as a streaming endeavor. That's challenging. We have to work at that every single day at Samsung and everywhere else I've worked. Similarly on the agency side, we're asking more agencies to do more things with us, for us, and that requires a real kind of matching of goals, of talents. So I think about that a lot. We work on that a lot as a team and with our agencies, but I think that's going to be an ongoing challenge. It doesn't get any simpler out there in terms of what we've got to get done.
I love that. That's great. One last bonus question, just I think given your agency background, and the fact that you work with agencies, what do you feel like the future of agencies? What does that look like as they're kind of evolving and maturing and kind of in this transformative type of state? What does that look like?
Yeah, I think there's different roles emerging, right? Clearly different specialties. Are there going to be agencies that really specialize in helping companies like ours to prepare for some kind of AI transformation, the fragmentation of digital, even social, influencer into kind of many parts. There's so many really specialized things to do now. I'm also interested in the role of consultants. How can they coach us? How can they help us to be prepared for what's next? Not always trying to do everything for and with Samsung, but helping us to do the right thing. So it's going to be exciting to see the way that agencies evolve to meet the challenges that we all see too.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, perfect. Fran, thank you so much for joining me and joining us, and I appreciate your insights and everything you shared with us today. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ryan.